So, um, I went onto Instagram now, and then I realized that it's Valentine's Day, and then I just thought to myself, if I'm single, like really actually single, who do I wish that who do I wish that happy Valentine's Day to? And so quickly, like my mind actually just went to back to a friend of mine that I had or still have, but in primary school and in high school, every year this guy would buy me something for Valentine's Day. Not just me, like a group of, like all the female or girlfriends that we had at that stage. And that actually taught me so much about just respecting the role of friendship in our lives. And I think that's kind of just what I want to talk about. And I'm hoping that it won't take long. I always say that, I know. But just one or two things that really, I think, especially me, like the older I get and the more single I am, one of the things that I pick up on is just the value of the role that friendships play in our lives. And even going through, I can say going through my 20s now, imagine. But even going through my 20s, I remember one of the things that I really learned from a book that I read by Joshua Harris called I Kiss Dating Goodbye. One of the things that I learned there was he was saying, when you build friendships, especially with members of the opposite sex, you want to be the type of friend that that person's spouse, they should be able to come to you, look at you and say, thank you so much um, for protecting his heart, for carrying his attitude, um, just all the emotions and all that stuff that get tied up into relationships or friendships. Thank you so much for being that type of a friend to him. And the way he summed that all up was being a good steward of their heart. Because the reality is, you have friendships that will feed love into your romantic relationships that you have, and you have friendships that even that can take away from it. And every relationship is either feeding or taking out of that pot. But I think I'm just I think for me, I'm so grateful for the friends that I have now, even for the friends that I've had, because and it's something that I consciously do, like work to make sure that if it is a guy friend of mine, that the girl that they one day end up with, that girl can say, thank you so much for the role that you play in their lives. And and it's okay with that, and that's okay, because it's obviously two different roles, and when they get to building a relationship for the future, those roles change. But before they actually meet that person, when they do meet that person, that instead of them seeing, meeting Katie and being like, oh, she's a threat, we need to cut her, um, it's actually then to say, I actually so appreciate how his heart has been allowed to grow, how you've protected him from, these other females, and really just engage that side of a relationship. So happy Valentine's Day for sure. But I also want to just encourage you to take a moment over the weekend and just think about the relationships that you have and what value they actually add to that. Because I mean, I can tell you, I will always be grateful for for that guy and what he did during those years, because those were some of the years that I felt the ugliest in my life. And and knowing that every year that I would just get some sign of appreciation from him on Valentine's Day was really just part of the journey I think that God had me on to break me free from that. So yeah, I'm grateful for my friendships, and I'm grateful for the spouses of the friends that I've had for such a long time. And happy Valentine's Day.